in the Midwest a little better. We'll also look ahead to some fun fall events happening in the Flint Hills. You won't want to miss it. Welcome to MHK All Day. I'm Gretchen Kanan. Last Sunday afternoon, faculty at MHK Hall received notice that the building was without power. The power outage started as a brownout on Saturday and left the building with a complete power loss by Sunday. The lights were out and the doors were shut to students and faculty Monday through Wednesday night, while electricians and campus officials worked to fix the problem. K-State says the power outage was caused by an underground line break. Classes and meetings normally held in Kedzie were either canceled or rescheduled to other buildings on campus. Faculty says that in a situation like this, there are many concerns and challenges.
The most important is everybody's safety, the faculty safety, student safety. You know, the elevators are not working in Kedzie, so some people rely on elevators.
After substantial work and rewiring, they were able to restore power in the building early Thursday morning. All classes and meetings have returned to their normal schedules. In the wake of Oklahoma's 5.8 earthquake in early September, Kansas State University researchers are calling for a 3D geological mapping study. This study will examine the subsurface of the state of Kansas. The goal is to create a joint state research fund for Oklahoma and Kansas in hopes of understanding the seismicity of the entire region. The tremor of Oklahoma's strongest earthquake on record shook many of its neighboring states. People felt the quake in Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, and even as far as Illinois. One Kansas State University associate professor says this is indicative of an increasingly active seismic reality for the entire region.
But over the last 10 years, it became apparent to many specialists that this area is witnessing a surge in the seismic activity. And that surge over the last 10 years, almost 10 times the frequency that we are used to.
Raff believes that a 3D geological mapping study could shed light on the increased seismic hazard of the region. He also believes the study will add to the understanding and mapping of the structural trends, ancient faults, and seismic site response.
We don't want the public to ignore it, but also we don't want to really amplify and exaggerate the problem. Okay, so we want just the hard facts, to establish the hard facts so that the public is assured and the industry is allowed to work in a reasonable framework.
Ultimately, Raff says the goal for the industry should be to gain the most knowledge possible from geological professionals alike in order to assess the problem and work towards solutions that limit the risks for people living in these areas. For more information on the threat levels of earthquakes within your region of the U.S., visit earthquake.usgs.gov/hazards. Within the last week, the Army announced the forced resignation of Commanding General of the 1st Infantry Division, Major General Wayne Grigsby. Although the Army has not yet said why Grigsby was suspended, they were officially relieved of his command on Monday. They announced yesterday that Major General Joseph Martin will assume command of the 1st Infantry Division effective immediately. He has served with the division in years past, among many other command positions. The 1st Infantry Division, also known as the Big Red One, is the largest unit on Fort Riley. The unit is capable of holding between 10 and 20,000 soldiers within its ranks. Next fall, the concealed carry law in Kansas will be changing. Kansas Governor Sam Brownback signed Senate Bill 45 back in 2015, which will allow Kansans to carry without a license or training, taking effect in July 2017. Until then, the citizens of Kansas can conceal carry their firearms, but have to participate in a gun safety class and buy a $100 permit first. Though the law hasn't taken effect yet, K-State students are feeling mixed emotions about the new bill. Some are concerned for their safety on campus, but others are finding the new law comforting and a way to advance their protection.
As long as people are safe, I'd be all for it. And as long as they're not whipping their guns out for pointless stuff, it's not the end of the world. I mean, if someone's being stupid, yeah, I say take it away, but until then, what the hell, why not?
It makes me feel really unsafe. I don't believe weapons or of any sort belong in a place of learning. And I've recently learned a lot about how brains develop. And our brains are still developing until the age of 25. So our impulse control at the age of 18 to 25 isn't necessarily the best. So I feel like it's going to create a lot of problems and chaos.
The bill will be granted to those 21 years of age and older. However, those under 21 can carry on their own property. The first of many presidential debates was held on Monday at Hofstra University between Republican candidate Donald Trump and Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Our own Michaela Gentine is in the studio with a K-State Republican to tell us more. Michaela?
Thank you, Gretchen. Now I'd like to mention real quick that we are going to have this same interview with a student Democrat next week, so things are as fair as possible. I'm joined by Evan Steckler, who's Vice President of the K-State College Republicans. Thank you, Evan, for joining us. First off, is there anything you're looking forward to in the next debate?
Well, what I would like to see is the candidates discussing some more of the issues that actually matter to Americans. We saw, a lot of going back and forth about their personal lives and their personal records and everything, but what I think the American people really want to hear about is how that we can move this country forward into the rest of the 21st century in a way that, we can grow our economy and we can reform the criminal justice system and we can do all these really important things that haven't been addressed for decades.
Okay. You mentioned to me offline about kind of the mixed emotions about the current Republican nominee. Is there anything, for or against, Donald Trump that you feel you'd like to point out?
Yeah, well, sure. Most of the college Republicans in the K-State College Republicans do support Donald Trump, and I certainly, in no respect, speak for them. But I do think that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are both unfit to be president. I think Hillary Clinton deserves to be in prison and Donald Trump deserves to be in timeout. And I think that's the fact of the matter. Neither of these candidates are serious about helping the country. They're both serious about helping themselves. And I think in Donald's case in particular, for the most part, he's throwing out, insults at people and he's putting forth, very, very lacking on detail policy prescriptions that, put barriers up to trade, and he's not very strong on the Second Amendment, and he hasn't defended life for most of his professional career. And those things are worrying to me, and I'm certainly not supporting Hillary Clinton either, but Donald Trump is not the candidate for the job.
Okay. With that being said, what do you want to see more of in the coming debates, just policy-wise? What are most important to you?
Yeah, well, I think the most important thing is that we get government out of the way of individuals' pursuit of their own happiness. I think that government is the biggest obstacle in people's lives, whether it's large taxes or big regulations on starting small businesses. We need a government that works for the people by allowing them to work for themselves, by getting regulations out of the way so that way it's easier to start a business on a street corner in America, by reforming the criminal justice system so that, it treats everyone fairly, but also allows our law enforcement officers to do their jobs and do them well. We need a serious foreign policy. We live in an increasingly uncertain world, and that's a problem. And neither of these candidates are addressing these issues very seriously, so I do hope that in the next debate we get into some more of the policy details about how we can make America safe, prosperous, and peaceful again.
Okay, and this is going to be the last question. For Donald Trump supporters, for Republicans supporting Donald Trump, what are some points that they would, try to draw in more voters for Trump?
Well, I think that they should really, completely renounce some of the things that he says. I think that, he's offended a lot of people in the country. I'm not easily offended, but some people are. And there are a lot of people out there who feel that even if they agree with him, they can't vote for him because he has called out their demographic as being, somehow worth less than the rest of us. And we all have equal value in the eyes of God, and I think that's important that we have a candidate who reflects that, and Donald Trump does not.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. We'll just take it right back to Gretchen.
Thanks.
Coming up in your MHK All Day Sports Report, KSU football starts their Big 12 schedule, soccer caps off their home season tonight, and K-State volleyball is looking to make a statement.
Better get ready, because here come the Wildcats.
Griezmann, does she hit a board? Oh my goodness, in the zone!
Lewis running the floor, catches, spins, and scores. How about that footwork? K-State have won in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
The heart-pounding roar, a sea of purple, wielding twists and turns, a sincere smile and simple phrase. Legacies that span generations, blurring the line between fans and family. Believing we bleed a different color. Foundations defined by a single stone. That special place you love full well. What makes traditions unforgettable? Loyalty. Purple. You.
Oh man, the fans, Manhattan, Octagon is doing, it's a tough place to play, we feed off the energy.
We may take different paths, but we all move forward, preparing for our future in the same historic library. We meet friends in the bustling student union and experience the exciting atmosphere of campus events. We appreciate individual interests and shared passions. Many different paths, one distinct destination. How does campus life become life experience? Connections, involvement.
This past Monday, Utah Jazz broadcaster and Kansas State graduate Craig Bolerjack came back to Manhattan to meet with students and faculty. He spent the day having lunch with faculty members, and his day concluded by talking with students in a roundtable session. Speaking of sports, let's toss it over to our sports reporter, Juan Cisneros.
Thanks, Gretchen. It's a great weekend and a great week to be a K-State sports fan, so let's get right to it. The schedule will begin to get tougher for the K-State football team as Big 12 play begins this Saturday when the Cats travel to Morgantown to take on West Virginia Mountaineers. The Wildcats are 2-1 this season after wins over Florida Atlantic and Missouri State the past 2 weeks. K-State's one loss came to Stanford in the season opener in Palo Alto, California. The Wildcats have looked dominant, but with Big 12 play beginning, it's almost like a new season begins. The Mountaineers play a very up-tempo offense, which is something that Kansas State hasn't really seen this year. West Virginia is 3-0 this season after a 35-32 win over Brigham Young this past Saturday. Their offense averages over 500 yards per game, but their defense is allowing over 450 yards to opposing teams. Head coach Bill Snyder knows it could be a very different game for K-State than what they have seen this season.
The speed of the game will be up-tempo from what we've seen up to this point in time. I think the speed of the personnel that they put on the field will be enhanced from what we have seen in the previous three games. I think they're a team that likes to cast the ball downfield, and they'll certainly do that. But they have a good blend of run and pass, which makes it a little bit more difficult from a defensive standpoint to have to defend both. And they have good people doing it.
K-State and West Virginia will kick off at 2:30 p.m. on ESPNU this Saturday. The K-State women's soccer team will close out its 4-game homestand tonight when they host UMKC at 7. The team got their first win at home last Sunday when they defeated South Dakota. In their inaugural season, they have 3 wins in the exhibition year. Tonight's game will be the final home game of the season for the Wildcats at the soccer stadium as the Kangaroos and Wildcats go head-to-head. The K-State volleyball team had its 10-game winning streak come to an end this past Sunday after a straight-set loss to Baylor in Waco, Texas. The Wildcats will have to refocus, however, as they host the 4th-ranked team in the country, the Texas Longhorns, on Saturday at 7 p.m. in Ahern Fieldhouse. The Longhorns are 3-0 this season in the Big 12, while the Wildcats are 2-1. Texas has wins over West Virginia, Kansas, and Oklahoma so far this year in conference play. The Wildcats will look to get back to their winning way, while the Longhorns put their 3-match winning streak to the test.
Thanks, Juan, so much for that awesome sports report. We'll be right back after a short break.
Better get ready, because here come the Wildcats.
Wiesman, does she hit a fourth? Oh my goodness, in the zone!
Lewis running the floor, catches, spins, and scores. How about that footwork? K-State have won in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
The heart-pounding roar, a sea of purple, wielding twists and turns, a sincere smile and simple phrase. Legacies that span generations, blurring the line between fans and family. Believing we bleed a different color, foundations defined by a single stone. That special place you love full well. What makes traditions unforgettable? Loyalty. Purple. You.
Oh man, the fans, Manhattan, Octagon, the door, it's a tough place to play, we feed off the energy.
We may take different paths, but we all move forward, preparing for our future in the same historic library. We meet friends in the bustling student union and experience the exciting atmosphere of campus events. We appreciate individual interests and shared passions. Many different paths, one distinct destination. How does campus life become life experience? Connections, involvement, you.
Welcome back to MHK All Day. Tomorrow is the end of a chapter for Banned Books Week. During the week, people across the country celebrate their freedom to read. This 7-day event highlights the harm of censorship and restricted access on books in the classroom surrounding issues and controversies. Here at K-State, students and faculty gathered at Bosco Plaza to read from books that have been questioned and put on the banned books list. Reasons for challenged books include offensive languages, sex education, religious viewpoints, as well as others. Though some have been banned in classrooms and libraries, this week also celebrates the books that still remain available. For more information on Banned Books Week and for a list of books that have been removed from schools, visit www.ala.org/bbooks. Last week, we highlighted an educator from Wamego High School who is a finalist for Teacher of the Year. Today, we shine a spotlight on another finalist for the award, this time from Junction City.
Lincoln Elementary School in Junction City is home to the Lions and to Jennifer Farr, a finalist for Teacher of the Year.
Well, it's super overwhelming. I mean, you don't realize how underappreciated teachers are, and so I realize that there are so many good teachers out there, and so it's overwhelming to think that I'm considered one of them. And then I work with amazing teachers every day, and so everybody should be recognized. This school is amazing. I mean, we really pride ourselves on being a family, and it has been overwhelming, the kindness I've seen from them. Notes in the office, we've had cakes and cupcakes and celebrations. When we went to the finalist, the region finalist dinner in Salina, there were 21 people that came down and supported me. My coworkers have just been amazing. They're so excited about it. But I want people to see that they're all amazing too. They're Teachers of the Year just as much as I am. I've had great teachers, K through college, amazing teachers that have really inspired me and excited me about being in the classroom. Children are the number one reason I'm here. Knowing I could help somebody emotionally or socially, academically, that is a huge task, a huge responsibility, but one that I love. I love to know that somewhere along the line they can say, well, Mrs. Farr told me this, or she taught me I could do this.
For MHK All Day, I'm Juan Cisneros.
We'll be following up with these Teacher of the Year Award nominees as the banquet and award ceremony gets closer. The ceremony takes place on November 19th. Juan now joins me at the desk as we get started with our weekly community calendar segment. And this week is a big one for the Flint Hills community. Tomorrow is the first day of October, meaning everyone in the Little Apple can enjoy some Germanic tradition with a twist.
What's that supposed to mean, Gretchen?
Well, as we all know about Oktoberfest, in fact, the entire world will start flocking to Germany soon to enjoy this unique cultural experience. But there are ways that we can celebrate right here at home.
I think I know where you're going with this. Our neighbors in Wamego are holding their annual Oztoberfest tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's definitely a Flint Hills tradition, and the city capitalizes on the event by incorporating their beloved Wizard of Oz theme.
So where exactly will this event be held?
Just head right over to downtown Wamego. Fortunately, it's a small town. You won't have to navigate around too much. You'll find parking near the event, and you can bring your friends and family to enjoy beer and wine in their beer garden. And don't worry, there are a ton of events for the kids too.
That sounds like a great time. If I go, I'll be sure to bring a jacket since the fall weather is starting to come into full swing. If you want to get in on the fall festivities but don't want to leave Manhattan, there are plenty of events around town today and tomorrow.
In fact, after the show, we can head on over to Psycho Park for the 43rd annual Pumpkin Patch Arts and Crafts Fair. It's running until 7 o'clock tonight and will reopen tomorrow morning at 9. Everything will wrap up around 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, so you'll have plenty of time to go pick out the perfect pumpkin to put on your front porch.
That's right. Thank you so much for sticking with us for that community calendar. We'll be right back after a short break.
Better get ready, because here come the Wildcats.
Wiesman, does she hit a fourth? Oh my goodness, in the zone!
Lewis running the floor, catches, spins, and scores. How about that footwork? K-State have won in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
The heart-pounding roar, a sea of purple, wielding twists and turns, a sincere smile and simple phrase. Legacies that span generations, blurring the line between fans and family. Believing we bleed a different color. Foundations defined by a single stone. That special place you love full well. What makes traditions unforgettable? Loyalty. Purple. You.
Oh man, you know, the fans, you know, Manhattan, you know, Octagon, the door, it's a tough place to play. You know, we feed off the energy.
We may take different paths, but we all move forward, preparing for our future in the same historic library. We meet friends in the bustling student union and experience the exciting atmosphere of campus events. We appreciate individual interests and shared passions. Many different paths, one distinct destination. How does campus life become life experience? Connections, involvement, you.
The Biosecurity Research Institute at K-State has been buzzing about new research on the Zika virus in a certain type of mosquito. MHK All Day reporter Sophia Woodard has the scoop.
New research has determined the Culex mosquito cannot transfer the Zika virus, and the virus actually disappears in the mosquito. The Culex mosquito is a species found around the country, including Miami-Dade County in Florida, where cases of mosquito-to-human transmission of the virus have occurred. Dana Van Landingham, assistant professor of virology, says this discovery is important for helping scientists and health agencies to narrow down their focus and better use their resources to combat and find a cure for the Zika virus.
Knowing kind of what viruses get into what mosquitoes will enable people to target their vector control strategies and so that they're not wasting time and effort on a mosquito that's not transmitting the virus. It's important to know that Culex in our hands was not able to be transmitted.
Although it is nice to be able to check off the Culex mosquito from the list of questions that still surround the disease, there are still many issues that are not fully understood about the Zika virus.
We don't know some of the most fundamental basic information. We don't have the understanding of that. So, you know, we can't emphasize enough that it's not just for applied research of vaccines and diagnostics, which is obviously very important, but there is a need for funding for basic research as well.
Until a vaccine for the Zika virus is developed, Higgs says the best option for preventing infection is to avoid getting bitten by Zika-infected mosquitoes by applying repellents, especially if you are visiting Zika-infested areas. Reporting for MHK All Day, I'm Sophia Woodard.
Mosquitoes who transmit the virus can be difficult to identify as they come in many different colors. Culex mosquitoes are brown, while two known breeds of Aedes mosquitoes are either all black or black and white. For more information on the virus and methods to protect yourself from Zika, visit cdc.gov/Zika. The Union Program Council, here at K-State held an event yesterday called Lunchtime Lounge. The event showcased the lads who won the Battle of the Bands competition last year. The lads performed to an audience in the Student Union in preparation for their upcoming competition. This was just one of the many events UPC hosts throughout the year.
We plan about 175 events a year. They're different events, kind of across the board. We have big events, we have smaller events, but right now we have Lunchtime Lounge, which is kind of midday from 12 to 1. We try to have every once in a while.
This is the 30th annual Battle of the Bands contest hosted by K-State's Union Program Council. You can watch the lads and other bands perform tonight at 7 p.m. at Bosco Plaza. With October approaching, many students are finding themselves spending more time on schoolwork and less time on personal health. On Tuesday, Kansas State Counseling Services, also known as CAT Chats, will be hosting a stress management seminar. This seminar will educate students on ways to cope with stress effectively. For more information, you can go to the Counseling Services website at www.k-state.edu/counseling. We will have more on this in next week's show. So Juan, are you going to be watching that K-State football game?
Oh, without a doubt.
Tomorrow,
I think it's a game to watch. Big 12 starts. Everyone's excited for it.
I know. I'm really excited to see Big 12 play get into action, so I just cannot wait for that.
It'll be a chilly one though, so I'll have my jacket there.
Oh yeah,
watching the game.
I'll definitely be curled up in a blanket on my couch watching. So
without a doubt.
Thanks guys so much for tuning in to MHK All Day. Be sure to tune in next week. Thanks for watching.
This is Channel 8 News.